25 Amish secrets to keeping clean. Modern technology is useless. Imagine staying warm all winter without turning on your furnace, using gas, or even plugging in an electric heater. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, the Amish have been living this way for generations, and it works. I'm going to show you 25 clever Amish secrets to keep your home cozy using zero electricity, zero gas, and zero big bills. Layer up with clothing. One of the oldest tricks in staying warm during cold winter months is layering your clothing. Start with a base layer of thermal undergarments, which trap heat close to your skin. Add a thick woolen vest. These aren't just for grandpas anymore. They're making a serious comeback in winter fashion. Top it off with a cozy flannel shirt, and you've created your own personal heating system without touching the thermostat. The neat thing about layering is you can always peel off a layer when you get too warm. Unlike when you crank up the heat and end up feeling like you're in a sauna. The Amish have been using this method for generations, and they know a thing or two about staying warm without modern heating. They typically wear multiple layers of natural fabrics, like wool and cotton, which work together to create insulating air pockets that keep body heat from escaping. Wear long underwear. Long underwear is one of the best ways to stay warm in winter. Just put it on under your normal clothes, and you'll feel the difference right away. It's like wearing a warm blanket that fits right against your skin. You can get them in wool or cotton. Both work great at keeping the cold out. The Amish know all about staying warm without fancy heating, and they always wear long underwear in winter. It's so simple. Just one extra layer under your clothes makes a huge difference. You won't see it under your regular clothes, but you'll sure feel warmer. And unlike turning up the heat, this method won't cost you a penny more once you've bought them. Wool socks. There's an old saying that goes, cold feet make for a cold body. And it's absolutely true. Your feet are like your body's temperature controllers. When they're cold, everything feels cold. That's where wool socks come in as your feet's best friends during winter. These aren't just any socks we're talking about. Wool socks are nature's own foot warmers, carefully knitted to trap heat and keep your toes toasty. The Amish have been using them for generations, and they spend a lot of time outdoors in freezing weather. They know that a good pair of wool socks can make the difference between a miserable day and a comfortable one. The best part about wool socks? They last forever if you take care of them properly. Unlike those cheap cotton socks that wear out after a few washes, a good pair of wool socks can keep your feet warm for many winters to come. Plus, wool naturally fights off smelly feet. It's like having a built-in air freshener for your shoes. Heating pads or warm stones. Feeling chilly? Here's a trick that's been keeping people warm long before electricity was invented. Instead of cranking up the thermostat, try using heating pads or warm stones to heat up specific spots in your home. It's like having a personal sun warming you up exactly where you need it. The Amish have a clever way of doing this. They heat stones on their wood stoves or in their ovens, wrap them in thick cloth, and use them to warm up their beds before sleeping. Some put them under blankets while sitting, and others tuck them near their feet. These stones hold heat for hours, slowly releasing warmth throughout the night. For those of us who aren't heating stones in wood stoves, regular heating pads work just as well. You can put them under your feet while watching TV, behind your back while reading, or in your bed before sleeping. They use very little electricity compared to heating an entire room, and they warm you up much faster too. Wrap up in blankets. When it comes to staying warm, sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones. Blankets are like having a cozy shield against the cold, and they work better than most people think. The key is picking the right kind. Wool blankets and quilts are your best friends here. The Amish have mastered the art of making warm blankets. They create thick quilts that not only keep them warm, but also become family treasures passed down through generations. Each blanket tells a story through its stitches and patterns, made with care to provide warmth during the coldest nights. You don't need to be a master quilter to benefit from blankets, though. Keep a few good ones in your living room, ready to wrap around yourself when you're reading or watching TV. Layer them on your bed at night. Start with the thickest one on the bottom, and add lighter ones on top. This creates air pockets that trap heat, just like birds fluffing up their feathers to stay warm. Curtains and drapes. Most people don't realize that their windows could be costing them a lot of warmth during winter. Think of curtains and drapes as your window's winter coats. Without them, all your precious heat escapes right through the glass. The thicker the curtains, the better they work at keeping your home cozy. The Amish have turned this into an art form. They use heavy wool curtains or thick fabric drapes that work like a charm at blocking those chilly drafts. But here's the real trick. It's all about timing. During the day, they open their curtains wide to let the sun warm up their rooms naturally. It's like having free heating. Then, as soon as the sun starts to set, they close everything up tight to trap all that warmth inside. This method is so simple, yet so effective. Just touch a window on a cold day. Feel how chilly it is. Now imagine that cold seeping into your room all day and night. That's what happens without proper curtains. Good curtains act like a barrier between your warm room and that cold window. Plus, they make your room look nicer. It's like getting two benefits for the price of one. Just make sure your curtains reach all the way to the floor for the best draft protection. Seal drafts around windows and doors. Cold air is sneaky. It finds every tiny crack around your windows and doors to creep into your home. It's like having tiny holes in your winter coat. Even small gaps can let in enough cold air to make your house feel chilly. But don't worry. Fixing this doesn't require fancy equipment or expensive materials. The Amish have perfected simple ways to keep drafts out using basic materials most people have lying around. They make draft stoppers from old fabric, filling them with whatever works. Cloth scraps, wool, or even dry hay. These work surprisingly well at blocking those pesky drafts that sneak under doors and around window frames. Want to find out where your drafts are coming from? Here's a trick that's been used for generations. Wait for a windy day and hold a thin piece of cloth near your windows and doors. If the cloth moves, you found a draft. Once you spot these trouble areas, seal them up using whatever you have on hand. Old towels work great around doors. For windows, you can use cloth strips pressed into the gaps or even stuff some wool into bigger holes. The key is being thorough. Every draft you block means more warmth stays inside where you want it. Draft dodgers. Here's a fun way to keep warm that won't cost you much money at all. Draft dodgers are like long skinny pillows that sit at the bottom of your doors and windows to block cold air. They might sound fancy, but they're really just tubes filled with stuff that stops drafts from creeping in under your doors. Making your own draft dodgers is super easy. Take some old socks, the longer the better, or make a tube from any fabric you have lying around. Fill them with uncooked rice or dried beans. These work great because they're heavy enough to stay in place and can mold to fit any gap. Some people even use old pantyhose filled with cat litter or sand. The Amish often use natural materials like straw or wool, which work just as well. The best part about draft dodgers is that you can put them anywhere you feel cold air sneaking in. Put them at the bottom of doors, along windowsills, or even on those drafty old basement doors. They're especially useful for doors you don't use very often. Just place them down and forget about them until spring. Some folks even make them look cute by using colorful fabrics or adding buttons for eyes, turning these practical items into fun decorations. Just remember to store them in a dry place during summer so they'll be ready for next winter. Bake and cook with the wood stove. Ever notice how cozy the kitchen feels when you're cooking? That's because cooking doesn't just feed your family, it heats up your home too. This is why the Amish connect their kitchen to their living room. They know that good cooking means good heating, and they don't let any of that warmth go to waste. Using a wood stove for cooking is like getting two tasks done at once. When you're baking bread, cooking stew, or roasting vegetables, that wood stove pumps out heat that warms up the whole room. The clever part comes after you're done cooking. Leave that oven door open a crack and let all that leftover heat warm up your space. It's like having a mini heater that you just cooked dinner with. In Amish kitchens, the wood stove is the heart of the home. They plan their cooking to make the most of the heat. Baking in the morning helps warm the house for the day, and cooking dinner in the evening keeps things toasty as temperatures drop outside. They'll often keep a pot of water on the back of the stove too. This creates some humidity in the dry winter air and makes the room feel even warmer. It's a perfect example of how something as simple as cooking can serve multiple purposes. Moving around is one of the best ways to warm up when it's cold, and it won't cost you a penny. The Amish know this secret well. They keep moving throughout the day, whether they're doing farm chores, building things, or playing their traditional games like volleyball. It's pretty smart when you think about it. You're getting your daily tasks done while keeping warm at the same time. You don't need to do anything complicated to get your blood flowing. Simple activities like walking up and down stairs, doing some basic stretches, or even dancing around while you clean the house can make a big difference. When you feel cold, try standing up and moving around for just 5 minutes. You'll be amazed at how much warmer you feel. Even tasks like folding laundry or organizing a closet can get your body temperature up. The best part is that moving around doesn't just warm you up, it keeps you healthy too. The Amish stay active all day long, going outside to feed animals, gather firewood, or work in their workshops. They don't need fancy exercise equipment or gym memberships. They just keep busy with regular daily activities. And here's a fun fact. Moving around actually helps you stay warmer for longer even after you sit back down because your metabolism stays boosted for a while. Here's a simple trick that makes a big difference in keeping your home warm. Close off the rooms you're not using. Think about it. Why heat up spaces that nobody's in? The Amish have been doing this forever and it makes perfect sense. Focus on keeping the main living areas warm while letting unused rooms stay cooler. It's really as simple as shutting doors to spare bedrooms, closing off the formal dining room when it's not mealtime, or keeping that rarely used guest room closed until visitors arrive. When you do this, all your heat stays in the spaces where people actually are instead of warming up empty rooms. It's like wearing a coat with a broken zipper. If you don't close it up, all the warmth escapes. The key is being organized about it. Make your kitchen, living room, and whatever rooms you use during the day warm and cozy. When bedtime comes around, open the bedroom doors about an hour before sleep to let some warmth in. This way you're not wasting heat on empty spaces during the day, but you're also not going to bed in an icebox. Some folks even put rolled up towels at the bottom of closed doors to make this trick work even better. Wood-burning stove. When it comes to warming up your home, nothing beats a good old-fashioned wood-burning stove. These aren't just decorative pieces. They're powerful heaters that can warm up a room better than most modern heating systems. A single wood stove can heat up a surprising amount of space, and there's something special about that kind of warmth that just feels cozier than forced air heat. The Amish have used wood stoves as their main heat source for generations, and for good reason. These stoves are incredibly efficient at heating spaces, especially smaller homes. The best part? If you have access to your own firewood, running a wood stove can be much cheaper than using other heating methods. Even if you need to buy firewood, it often costs less than paying for gas or electric heat. Setting up a wood stove isn't just about placing it in a room and lighting a fire. The Amish position their stoves strategically, where the heat can spread evenly throughout the house. They also know that different types of wood burn differently. Hardwoods like oak and maple burn longer and hotter than softer woods like pine. Plus, there's an added bonus. You can use the top of the stove for keeping tea warm or cooking during power outages. Let me know in the comments if you are still allowed to use a wood stove where you live. Recently, I've heard a lot of people saying it's strictly forbidden in some places. What a shame. Wear a sweater or jacket indoors. Did you know that throwing on a sweater or jacket indoors can cut your heating bills significantly? Before you reach for the thermostat, reach for that cozy sweater hanging in your closet. The Amish have mastered this simple approach to staying warm. They wear practical warm clothing inside their homes rather than heating every room to summer temperatures. Natural fibers are your best friends here. Wool sweaters are particularly good at trapping heat close to your body, and they keep working even if they get a bit damp from everyday activities. A good wool sweater is like wearing a portable heater. It moves with you from room to room, keeping you warm wherever you go. Even better, you can take it off if you get too warm, which is a lot easier than trying to cool down an overheated room. The nice thing about wearing warm clothes indoors is that you can layer them according to how you feel. Start with a light sweater, and if you're still chilly, add a vest or jacket on top. Some people even keep a dedicated house sweater, a favorite cozy piece that's perfect for lounging around home. It becomes like a warm, familiar friend during the cold months, ready to wrap you in warmth whenever you need it. Rice heating packs. Let's talk about one of the cleverest ways to stay warm without cranking up the heat. Rice heating packs. These simple but effective warmers are like having a mini personal heater that you can move anywhere. The Amish make their own by filling fabric pouches with plain rice, and they warm them up on their wood stoves. But don't worry if you don't have a wood stove. A quick trip to the microwave works just as well. What makes rice heating packs so great is how versatile they are. Pop one in your bed before sleeping to warm up the sheets, tuck it behind your back while reading, or rest it on your shoulders while watching TV. The rice holds heat surprisingly well and releases it slowly, giving you steady warmth for up to an hour. Plus, rice has a nice gentle weight to it that feels comforting when placed on sore muscles. Making your own is super easy. Just fill a clean sock or fabric pouch with uncooked rice, so it's shut, and you're done. Some people add dried lavender or herbs for a nice smell when heated. You can make different sizes for different uses. Small ones for your pockets, longer ones for your neck, or bigger ones for warming up your feet. Just remember never to get them wet or you'll have a different kind of rice dish on your hands. Hot water bottles. Want to know one of the oldest tricks for staying warm that still works perfectly today? Hot water bottles. These simple rubber bottles filled with hot water are like having a tiny radiator you can carry around. The Amish heat their water on wood stoves, but your kitchen tap works just fine. Just make sure the water's hot, but not boiling. These handy warmers are especially great at bedtime. Put one at the foot of your bed about 15 minutes before you turn in and you'll slip into toasty sheets instead of shivering under cold blankets. You can also tuck one behind your back while sitting in your favorite chair, or rest it on your lap while reading. Some people even wrap them in a sock or small blanket and carry them around the house. The best thing about hot water bottles is that they're cheap and reusable. Unlike electric heating pads, they don't need power to work, and they can't overheat or short out. Just be sure to check them for leaks before each use, and don't fill them with boiling water. You don't want any accidents. When the water cools down, simply empty it out and refill when needed. It's such a simple solution, but it works just as well now as it did 100 years ago. Warm beverages. Nothing warms you up quite like holding a steaming cup of your favorite hot drink. It's not just about keeping your hands warm. Drinking hot beverages actually heats you up from the inside out. The Amish often gather around with hot drinks during cold evenings, making it a cozy family time while staying warm. You've got plenty of choices here. Hot tea is perfect any time of day, and there are so many kinds to try, from regular black tea to herbal blends that can help you sleep better. Hot cider is another great option, especially if you have some cinnamon sticks to add in. Even plain hot water with a slice of lemon can do the trick. For those who like coffee, just remember not to drink it too close to bedtime unless you want to count sheep all night. The nice thing about hot drinks is that they do double duty. They warm your hands while you hold the cup, and they warm your insides when you drink them. Plus, taking time to sip a hot drink forces you to slow down and relax a bit. Try keeping a thermos of hot tea or coffee nearby while you work, or make it a habit to have a cup of something warm before heading out into the cold. Just remember to let your drink cool a bit before sipping. Nobody likes a burned tongue. Area rugs sitting on a cold floor first thing in the morning can feel like stepping onto ice cubes. That's where area rugs come in. They're like cozy islands that keep your feet warm when walking around your house. While the Amish often make their own rugs, you don't need to be a weaver to enjoy their benefits. A good area rug from a store or even a thrift shop works just as well. Rugs do more than just feel nice under your feet. They actually help insulate your home, especially if you have wood or stone floors. Think of them as blankets for your floor. They create a barrier between your warm feet and the cold surface below. The thicker the rug, the better it works at keeping the warmth in and the cold out. The best places for rugs are the spots where you spend a lot of time standing or walking. Next to your bed, in front of the kitchen sink, or in your living room. Wool rugs are especially good at insulation, but any thick rug will help. And here's a money-saving tip. Check out thrift stores and yard sales for rugs. You can often find good quality ones at bargain prices, and a quick cleaning can make them look like new. Just remember to put a non-slip pad underneath to keep them safely in place. The sun's heat. Here comes the cheapest heating trick of all time, using the sun's free heat. This simple method has been keeping the Amish warm for generations, and it won't cost you a single penny. It's all about working with the sun's daily pattern to warm your home naturally, just like a greenhouse does. The trick is in the timing. As soon as the sun rises, open up all your curtains and blinds, especially on windows that face east and south. These windows catch the morning sun and let its warmth stream into your rooms. As the sun moves across the sky, it naturally heats up your home, just like a big solar panel. The Amish are experts at this. They plan their daily activities around the sun's movement, often doing indoor work in rooms where the sun is shining. But here's the important part. Once the sun starts setting, close those curtains right away. This keeps all that free heat trapped inside, instead of letting it escape through cold windows at night. Think of it like putting a lid on a pot of soup to keep the heat in. It's such a simple thing, but it makes a big difference in keeping your home warm. The best part? The sun doesn't send you a bill at the end of the month. Get close to family for body heat. Staying warm is easier when you're not alone. That's something the Amish have known forever. While we're not suggesting you pack the whole family into one room like they did in the old days, sharing body heat is still one of the most effective ways to stay warm without turning up the heat. Think about it. Humans are like little walking heaters, each giving off about the same warmth as a 100-watt light bulb. When family members gather in the same room, everyone benefits from each other's natural body heat. The Amish often arrange their furniture to take advantage of this, creating cozy seating areas where the family can sit close together while reading, sewing, or just chatting. During really cold nights, sharing sleeping spaces can help too. Kids can have sleepovers in one room, making it both fun and practical. Even pets contribute to the warmth. Having your dog or cat sleep at the foot of your bed adds extra heat. It's not just about staying warm, though. Spending time close together as a family creates those special moments that make winter memorable. Just like penguins huddling together in the Antarctic, there's something natural about gathering close when it's cold outside. Wool hats and scarves. Your mother wasn't kidding when she told you to wear a hat. You really do lose a lot of heat to your head and neck. The Amish understand this well, which is why they're often seen wearing warm hats and scarves even when they're indoors. It might seem odd to keep your hat on inside, but it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Wool is the star player here. It's nature's own insulation system. A good wool hat keeps all that warm air from escaping through your head, which is especially important since that's where most of your body heat tends to sneak away. The same goes for scarves. Wrapping one around your neck is like putting weather stripping around a door. It keeps the warm air where it belongs. Amish women often knit their own hats and scarves, but you don't need to be crafty to benefit from this tip. Any warm hat will do the job, though wool ones work best because they keep you warm even if they get a bit damp from snow or rain. Keep a few hats and scarves handy near your favorite sitting spots. That way, if you start feeling chilly, you can put one on without having to get up and search for it. Turtleneck shirts for added warmth. We don't see the Amish wearing turtlenecks often, but this tip is too good to skip. A turtleneck shirt is like having a built-in scarf. It keeps your neck warm and stops heat from escaping through one of your body's biggest heat loss spots. Plus, it fits nicely under other clothes without making you look like you're dressed for an Arctic expedition. What makes turtlenecks so great is how they protect your neck without getting in the way. Unlike scarves that can come loose or get tangled, a turtleneck stays put all day long. They're perfect for layering, too. Wear one under a regular shirt or sweater, and you've got extra warmth without extra bulk. Some people even wear them under their regular work clothes for added warmth at the office. The best part about turtlenecks is that they're comfortable enough to wear all day. Look for ones made from soft, natural materials like cotton or a cotton wool blend. These feel nice against your skin and won't make you itchy. Keep a few in your closet in different colors, and you'll have a warm base layer ready whenever the temperature drops. They're especially handy for those days when you want to look put together but still stay cozy. Create small, warm zones in your home. Instead of trying to heat your entire house, why not focus on warming up the rooms you actually use? The Amish are masters at this. They create cozy, warm zones where the family spends most of their time, usually around the wood stove or kerosene heater. It's like having a warm island in your home that you can sail to whenever you need to warm up. There's no point in heating rooms that sit empty most of the day. Think about it. Does your guest bathroom need to be toasty warm 24/7? Does the laundry room need to feel like a summer day? The smart move is to pick one or two main areas where people gather most often, usually the living room and kitchen, and focus on keeping those spaces warm and comfortable. Creating these warm zones is simple. Use a space heater or wood stove in your main living area, close off unused rooms, and arrange your furniture to make the most of the heat. Set up cozy spots for reading, watching TV, or doing homework near the heat source. You might even find that having designated warm spaces brings the family together more often. After all, everyone naturally gravitates toward the warmest, coziest spot in the house. Keep your door closed. Shut the door, you're letting all the heat out. If you heard this a lot growing up, your parents were onto something. Keeping doors closed is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to stay warm. Even though getting kids, and some adults, to remember can feel like an impossible task. The Amish are very careful about this. They know that an open door is like throwing money out the window in the form of lost heat. Every time a door stays open, warm air rushes out and cold air sneaks in. It's like leaving the refrigerator door open, except you're cooling down your whole house instead of warming up your kitchen. To make doors even better at keeping the cold out, some Amish families line their door frames with strips of wool or cloth. This fills any tiny gaps where drafts might sneak through. Think of it as giving your door a winter coat. Every little bit helps keep the warmth inside where it belongs. Some even hang heavy curtains over their doors for extra protection against the cold. The key is making it a habit. Close doors behind you automatically, just like turning off lights when you leave a room. It's such a simple thing, but it makes a big difference in keeping your home warm. Create a candle heater. Here's a clever heating trick that feels almost magical. Making a simple heater from candles and a flower pot. The Amish have been using candles for light and heat for generations, and they've figured out some pretty smart ways to get the most warmth from them. This method is like creating your own mini fireplace that can warm up a small space. The setup is simple. Place several candles in a metal container, then put a terracotta pot over them. The pot collects the heat from the candles and radiates it out into the room, working like a tiny space heater. It's surprisingly effective for such a simple setup, and it costs very little to run. The Amish often make their own candles too, which makes this method even more cost-efficient. Just remember to be careful with any open flames. Always put your candle heater on a stable, fireproof surface, and never leave it unattended. Make sure there's nothing flammable nearby, and keep it where kids and pets can't knock it over. A few candles in a terracotta pot won't heat your whole house, but they can make a small space feel much cozier. Plus, there's something really peaceful about the soft glow of candlelight on a cold winter evening. Before going to the last tip, make sure to let me know in the comments what tip you found the most useful, and what tricks you are already using. Chimney and stove maintenance. Taking care of your chimney and wood stove isn't the most exciting part of winter, but it's one of the most important. The Amish know that a well-maintained heating system is like a well-oiled machine. It works better, lasts longer, and keeps you warmer. Plus, it's much safer than letting things get grimy and clogged. Think of your chimney like the exhaust pipe on your car. It needs to be cleaned to work properly. When wood burns, it leaves behind creosote, a sticky substance that builds up inside your chimney. If you let too much creosote build up, it can catch fire, and nobody wants that excitement during winter. The Amish clean their chimneys regularly, usually before winter starts, and sometimes during the season if they use their stove a lot. The wood stove needs attention, too. Clean out the ashes regularly. Too much ash at the bottom of your stove reduces airflow and makes the fire burn less efficiently. Check the seals around the stove door, too. If they're worn out, you're losing heat and wasting wood. A little maintenance goes a long way in keeping your home warm and safe. Just like an old truck needs regular oil changes to keep running, your heating system needs regular care to keep the warmth flowing. These 25 Amish-inspired methods show that staying warm doesn't have to cost a fortune. From simple tricks like layering clothes and using draft dodgers to clever ideas like candle heaters and rice packs, there are plenty of ways to keep cozy without relying on expensive heating. Sometimes, the old ways really are the best ways.